Jackie Termini, and I'm the liaison of K-14 Outreach and Partnerships at Finger Lakes Community College. I'm here today with one of our awesome admissions counselors, Riley Sullivan. Riley and I are here to talk to you a little bit about some things you can think about before you begin your college search process. So Riley, if you can help us out by telling our audience a little bit about the certificate versus an associate's degree versus a bachelor's degree, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, so thank you, Jackie. This is a question that we get a lot in admissions, kind of trying to navigate the admissions process and starting to think about what you ultimately might want to earn when you go to apply to colleges. So like Jackie said, there's a few different options when you're starting to pursue degrees. So there's certificate programs, and this might not be something that you hear as frequently as an associate's or a bachelor's, but a certificate program is an alternative to earning a degree. So it's really focusing on the core of the program that you're interested in. So for example, maybe you're interested in culinary arts and you'd want to earn a certificate in culinary arts. You'd really just be taking culinary arts curriculum and nothing else. It's about half the amount of credit hours as a degree, an associate's degree, but it really allows for you to specifically focus in on your actual interests within a program. There's a lot of different options for certificate programs out there, and it's something to keep in mind if maybe you're not necessarily looking to get a degree at all, or maybe just not yet. It's a really good option. There's also associate's and bachelor's degrees. So I'm going to hit on associate's degrees. I think it's something that we hear pretty frequently as far as what your options are. So an associate's degree is something that you can earn at a community college, which is typically a 2-year degree program. There's so many different types of associate's degrees, but ultimately something to keep in mind is that it's really preparing you for either the career field. So once you graduate, going right into the career field, or preparing you to transfer on to a 4-year institution for a bachelor's degree. It's completely up to you and what your goal is at the end of graduation. If you want to continue on into a field that requires more education, then that would be preparing you for transfer. If you're looking to get an associate's degree and then go right into the career field, there's also options out there for that as well. That's something to keep in mind when you're starting to think about the different programs that you might be interested in. When we talk about 2+2 opportunities, I like to hit on an associate's degree and the difference between a bachelor's. So a bachelor is typically a 4-year program. You can enter into a bachelor's program at a 4-year institution, or you can take a separate route where you are pursuing an associate's degree first. So you do 2 years at a community college if you're a full-time student, and then you would be transferring into a 4-year institution for your final 2 years. So that's when you hear that term, a 2+2 opportunity. It would be 2 years at a community college and 2 years at a 4-year institution. There's a lot more that goes into that, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind if you're considering both an associate's and a bachelor's degree. So when you hear the 2+2 options, something to just keep in mind down the line that you can start at a community college first and then transfer into a 4-year institution.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful. I don't think everybody is aware always of the multiple options that you have. So your example of culinary is great. I might want to go into the culinary field, but there are now many different ways that I can do that. It doesn't mean there's only one path and only one way to get there. So speaking of the different paths and the different types of degrees, then what really is the difference between a community college, which is typically a 2-year program, versus a college or university, which is typically a 4-year program?
So community colleges, like you mentioned, are normally 2-year programs if you're a full-time student. So ultimately, it takes you around 4 semesters to complete an associate's degree at a community college. After a community college, you can pursue a college or university. There's all different types of colleges and universities. Something that you might think of when you are starting the search process is SUNY. So that is what in New York State we offer the State University of New York. That is the ability to take your curriculum at a SUNY school. That is what we consider a state school. When you hear a university, you think more of a private side of schools. Private schools are a little bit different than state institutions. There's a lot of different options that go into both. When you hear university, you think of a larger number of students. A community college tends to be in the small to medium size with smaller classrooms available to our students as well. So ultimately, a community college is a 2-year program, and a college and university is a 4-year program.
Great. And knowing that you can go from one to the other clears that up a little bit as well. So, speaking of preparation, even if I'm not sure what I want to do after high school, even if I'm not sure of the program or what I actually want to do in terms of what kind of a program I even want to go into or what kind of college I even want to pursue, are there things I can do now to get ready for whatever that is that I choose a few years from now?
Definitely. So the biggest thing that I always tell students is start thinking about what you might be interested in. Are you interested in going into the healthcare field or maybe the education field, or you want to become an engineer, or ultimately you have a goal of becoming a doctor? It's something to really think about. And my biggest recommendation now is to ask people within the field that you might be interested in. Have conversations with people, talk to them about what it's like to be a teacher, in the classroom, talk to people who might be within the healthcare field. Maybe you can take advantage of shadowing opportunities. If you're one of those students though, that's thinking, I have no clue what I want to do, this is just, the next stepping point after high school, really consider a community college. It gives you that opportunity to pursue a bunch of different majors and programs. Like FLCC, we have so many different majors available to our students that really help you to navigate what it is that you might be interested in studying. So if you're one of those students right now that's thinking, I have no idea what I want to do, you have time, but be proactive about it and start considering your different options that you have available. Additionally, I always recommend to students, challenge yourself. It's really easy once you get to your junior and senior year to, not take as much curriculum, to not challenge yourself with college level coursework. But ultimately, after you graduate, the more college credits you're able to take in high school, the better off you'll be once you graduate, because it's less curriculum that you'll have to take when you get to college. So if you can take classes like English 101, that will really put you ahead of the game once you enter, a 2-year or 4-year institution, that would be a really good opportunity to take advantage of. Also, continue on with Regents-based coursework. Take as much as possible. If you're able to receive a Regents or an Advanced Regents diploma, that's always going to put you ahead of the game, especially when it comes to applying to colleges. Colleges are looking at your 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade curriculum. So definitely consider what you're taking now in 9th and 10th grade and what you can take next. Have a conversation with your guidance counselor to prepare you for what you can be taking your following year. And then additionally, we always encourage students to get involved with extracurricular activities outside of the classroom in high school. So if you can, maybe you're an athlete, maybe you're able to be a part of a club or National Honor Society, volunteer. This all looks fantastic on a resume when you go to apply to a college. Something to definitely keep in mind is that, recording what you're doing when you are in 9th in even 10th grade will really put you above the rest when you do go to apply, depending on what type of program you're trying to get into. Maybe you volunteer your time, on the weekends helping at a old folks home. Put that on your resume so that down the line, maybe you want to work in an old folks home and they can see that you've been doing that since you were a 9th and 10th grade student. So there's lots of different opportunities available that you should definitely consider taking advantage of in high school. And then my biggest recommendation additionally would be research and ask questions. It does not hurt to do research on schools that you might be interested in. Ask questions, call the admissions office, ask what you need to do in order to get into a program like that that you might be interested in that has specific qualifications. But also put yourself on campus. Make sure that you're able to figure out if a school that you might be interested in is the right fit for you. Maybe on the website it looks one way, but when you get there, it's a little bit different. There's virtual tours available on websites that you can take advantage of to really get a feel for a campus, to see if it's a good fit for where you'll be spending the next couple years.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Riley, for speaking with me today. And for students who might be watching, please make sure you check out our website at www.flcc.edu. We hope to see you soon.